Good morning, y'all. Welcome to Coffee with Connect. As you know, we get together on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 9:30. We have our coffee. We get into God's Word. Today's coffee mug, it's one I've used before, but it's a new one to me. And so with The Mandalorian being on and things like that, I'm just a little bit excited about Star Wars right now. So I'm using my Star Wars mugs a lot lately. And this is Dagobah, which is where Yoda, as you see him right there, where Yoda trained Luke, and we see all the things there. So yeah, it's a fun mug, it's a good one, and we're going to be continuing through the book of Romans today. Hopefully you've been joining us the last couple of days, and you know that we're going sequentially through the book of Romans, and today I'm sticking in Romans chapter 1 because there's a couple of verses here that I just wanted to use because I really love them, and I really enjoy the aspects of apologetics and understanding why you believe what you believe and being able to defend your faith. And it's something that I think is not only a little bit fun for me in a weird, nerdy way, but also is, I think, just something that all of us as believers need to know why we believe what we believe. And this is a verse that is, I guess, helpful in that area, that as Paul's writing to the church in Rome, he talks about. So we're going to pray, we're going to read, we're going to think, we're going to write, and then we're going to do it. And so I hope that you have prayed before you watch the video here. If you have not, as I like to say, push pause, pray, and ask the Lord to just bless the reading of his word as we look in Romans chapter 1, verses 19 through 20. So in the NIV, here's what it says. Since what may be known about God is plain to them, because God has made it plain to them. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. So, a few things as we think about this. A lot of times when we see people or we hear people trying to disprove God and, saying God's not there and all of those things, the Bible talks about really the fact that people are without excuse because we can see clearly in nature, we can see clearly in the things around us that there has to be something outside of ourselves. There has to be something that exists outside of time and space that's the only thing that makes sense. The only thing that, the clear evidence points to that. And it's amazing because in virtually any other field, you'll have scientists say, well, let's follow where the evidence goes. But in creation, that seems to kind of get put on the wayside a little bit and moved over to this side. But inherently, I believe this. We as people, we know that God is there. It really does make sense that there is, as I mentioned, a being that transcends, but there are many that refuse to glorify him as God. And I think the reason is this, when it really comes down to it, is because we are selfish, and because we are, in some ways, I'll call it power hungry, maybe. Because if there is a God, logically, right? If there is a God and a being that created us and we are created, then we must submit to him. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to submit to anybody as people. We don't want to be under the authority of anyone. Look at the world around us right now. But we don't want to do that, and we push away the truth that is clearly seen all around us, as it talks about here in this passage. A lot of people say that science and faith are opposites. I've seen that. I've heard people say that, but they aren't. In fact, that, in my opinion, that's a bit of an ignorant statement because they're actually complementary. I use one of my art terms, they're complementary colors in a lot of ways because both prove the other in many ways, and both are necessary in many ways. Science does such an amazing job of actually proving things that are in the Bible, and vice versa. Neither are intended to replace the other as well. But when we observe the natural world around us through the lens of creation, it makes so much more sense than random chance and natural selection. The evidence points to a creator, and that's why this verse says that people are without excuse. So what about you? Obviously, as you can tell, I get kind of passionate about this, and I could talk for a while on these kinds of things. But what's God saying to you about this? What is it that you could jot down that just these couple of verses maybe call out to you? And then what do we do with it? Well, I would say this: be confident. Let's be confident, but also be committed to know and understand why you believe what you believe. And when you are, you're more willing to share it. So you'll be more willing to share it. It'll connect you more to God, which in turn can connect you to others so that you can connect them to Him. The evidence is obvious. And we just need to look around and stop getting in our own way and thinking that we know more than God, because we don't. So thanks for joining me, and be sure to like and subscribe and share the video with others so that we can get together and have coffee and connect to Christ's community, purpose, and God's Word together.